For this review, once again, it is big box time. The model is produced by Volvo E Hobby. As you can see, it's an excavator and it's in 1:14 scale, full metal, radio controlled Volvo EC160E Excavator. The overall weight of the package is 13 kilograms, so it's a good workout for the giant hand cranes. Inside the packaging is this nice carry case with a carrying handle, and the locking clasps also give it a very nice feel. Opening up the box and you begin to get a feel for the size of the model. And for this model we are definitely talking heavy metal. So getting it out of the packaging is a real test. But here on Cranes Etc. we put in a week of weight training to be ready for the task. Just make sure you don't drop this model on your foot. The model comes with operating instructions in English and Chinese, and that gives you a good guide to the functionality of the model. The last few pages of the instructions show you how the motor systems are engineered, and it's useful information if you ever want to get into the mechanics of it. Before we go any further, let's deal with what sets this model apart, and that is its size. And here it is compared to a 1:50 scale excavator. We move straight on to the dim check and check the end-to-end length. And it's about 2 feet or 60 centimetres. Next, the height to the top of the cab is 8.5 inches or 22 centimetres. And in this pose the maximum height is about 1 foot or 30 centimetres. If you are interested in buying this model, there's a link to it in the video description below. This is a radio controlled model, so for the assembly we need to fit the battery, and one way you can do this is by removing the counterweight at the back of the excavator. There are 4 retaining screws, and when they're removed you can slide the counterweight off. That gives us a view inside, and we can see some electronics including a cable for the battery. So we can connect the battery up and then put it inside the back of the excavator. The battery is rechargeable and you recharge it using a USB connection. With the battery in, we can put the counterweight back on and then secure it in place with the thumb screws. There's one other thing to do, which is fold out the mirror from the transport position. For the review of the detail, we start underneath. And the heavy metal crawler tracks has got detailed pads. The general shape of the undercarriage is modelled, and there's also some detailing underneath the body. The crawler track pads are all individually pinned, and a big heavy model like this does have working rollers top and bottom. There's also other detailing along the track frame, and the drive sprockets look very good also. The cab has got lights on top and there's a large windscreen wiper. And there's more finer detailing at the bottom of the windscreen. There's a big metal grab rail and all of the detailing of the windows is very good. There's a nicely formed door handle and all of the graphics are very sharp. Inside the detail is also very good. It's mainly in plastic and it includes joysticks and control levers. And there's some good detailing on the floor also. The side panels are well detailed with handles, but the hinges are visible, although they're not too large in this scale. Up on top there's metal handrails and air cleaner and textured surfaces. The big counterweight looks very good and is nicely decorated, and it includes warning sign graphics. At the back there are properly formed lifting eyes. There's a light housing, but no video camera. On the other side there's a platform with a textured walkway and more metal grab rails. There's also some more nice detailing on top of the body, and overall it has a pleasing appearance. The boom has got large, thick, flexible hydraulic hoses, and the hydraulic rams have metal jackets. All of the construction is in metal and it's very robust. Moving to the stick, there are some more hydraulics, and graphics add to the detailing. The connection rivets used are all reasonably discreet. The large metal bucket is nicely shaped, and there are very nice tiny Volvo badges on the sides. Another interesting part is that the teeth are individually screwed in. To begin with, the cab has a nice opening door, and as you can see it folds back properly flat. A very nice touch on the model is that there are tiny magnets installed, and these help to keep the door properly shut. Behind the cab are a couple more opening panels, and the one at the front gives you access to the on-off switch, and again small magnets are used. On the opposite side is another opening panel, and it might be possible to feed the battery in this way rather than taking the counterweight off. Up on top, reflecting the real machine, is another opening cover. This is a radio controlled model and it comes with a good quality controller, and it's recharged by a supplied USB cable. Also included with it is an attachment that fits in the top of the controller, and this can hold a smartphone which could be used as an instrument display, although that software is not yet implemented. To switch the controller on, there are two buttons and you have to press them both at the same time, and then the LED light bar fires up. Next we need to switch on the excavator, and when they pair you get a full light bar. Once that's done, the model is ready to rock and roll. The instructions talk about other functionality including a sound module, but again that's not yet implemented. The work lights at the top of the cab, front and rear, do work, and you can use the controller to alter the brightness or switch them off. All of the main functions of the excavator do work. The boom raises and lowers, and of course you can rotate the machine, and there's also some proportionality, so the speed of rotation can be altered by the movement of the joystick. There is of course also movement of the stick and the bucket, and these movements are made by motors driving screws in the hydraulic rams. There's enough power in the battery to drive more than one function at a time, and the overall feeling is that there is enough power in all of the motors. The other main function to test is the crawler tracks, and as you would expect, each one is operated by a separate control, so you can pretty much achieve anything that the real machine achieves. Operating the boom, stick and bucket are quite precise. There is some speed variation possible, although some more control at the very slow end would be nice. Let's do a test on reaching up. And to begin with, the boom does a good job, perhaps only slightly short compared to the real machine. Then we can extend the stick to see how high we can get it, and that's quite a bit shallower than the real machine. But overall, when it's reaching out to dig, it does a reasonable job. Let's move on to the depth of digging, and it's a fair job, although the real machine gets the boom much lower. And you can see that on the boom ram there's a lot of extension left. So either it's too long or maybe the ram jacket's a bit too short. For gradability, the real machine achieves 35 degrees. And here we've set a 35-degree ramp and the model does very well. And the only issue is getting a grippy enough surface for the crawler tracks. Let's have a look at the forces the digging arm can generate. And on this simple test we can get a downward force of over 2 kilograms on the bucket. That's really governed by the weight of the model. So let's try a different test and see what force can be generated. Here we see that the motors and the mechanism do quite a bit better, and they can generate a force at the bucket tip, getting on for 5 kilograms. This is a very impressive model of the Volvo EC160E. It's extremely large and extremely heavy, and it's also very robust. It's a very good looking model with nice details, and the functionality is powerful. Overall, this model is very good.